This show is produced by the Harwood Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and we love making this show available to you free of charge. If you'd like to help us keep it that way, make a contribution to our Karma Jar or become a show sponsor. To learn more, visit our website. Today I'm making a batch of dill biscuits. Biscuits are a wonderful thing to know how to make because they come together so quickly. And if you have fresh dill in your garden, these biscuits are a great use for it. To get started, I'm going to get a medium-sized mixing bowl and I'm going to measure out 2 cups of flour. And to the flour, I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, and then we're going to get our dill. Now I have some fresh dill from the garden, and if you're going to use fresh dill, you want to use just these fine little fronds at the end, and we're going to finely chop up 1 tablespoon of fresh dill. Now, if you didn't have fresh dill on hand, but you had dry, then you could measure out a teaspoon of dry dill. Now, dill is a very strong flavored herb, so it's very important that we chop it up real finely. So I'm going to run my blade through it once, and then I'm going to go back and just keep chopping until it's nice and finely chopped. Then I'm going to measure out 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to put that in the bowl with my dry ingredients. Then I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to toss all of those ingredients together. What I'm looking to do is make sure that my leavening, the baking powder and baking soda, gets mixed through that flour, and then I want to see the dill dispersed all the way through as well. The last thing I want is little clumps of dill in these biscuits. Next, I have 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to cut it into 4 little pieces, put that in my bowl, and then using my pastry blender, I'm going to cut that butter into the flour. And when I'm done, the butter should look just like little pea-sized pieces. And now I'm going to add some buttermilk. Now, if you have trouble finding buttermilk where you live, on our website I have a recipe on how you can put it together real quickly with some just ingredients you have in your kitchen. I am going to shake it up because sometimes the little solids fall to the bottom. And to the dry ingredients, I'm going to add 1 cup of buttermilk. And I'm just going to use my spatula and mix that in real well. Now, if you wanted to, you could just get some spoons and drop these biscuits out. But today, I'm actually going to cut them out. So I want to have my baking sheet with a piece of parchment ready to go. And then on my cutting board, I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of flour. And then I'm going to take my dough and put that right on the floured board. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of flour on top and on my hands, and I'm going to press this out. Now, if at any point it's feeling too sticky, just sprinkle a little bit of flour on it. I'm going to press this out till it's about a 1/2 inch or so thick. And I'm just going to take a drinking glass, and you can use any size that you would like, and I'm just going to cut those out and place them right on my baking sheet. Then I'll gather the scraps together, press them out again, and use my drinking glass to cut a couple more out. And then you just want to keep going, adding a little bit more flour if you need, until you've used up all of your dough. And when I get the last little bit of dough, I'm just going to shape it into a round like this, and then I'll just put it on the sheet with the other biscuits. Now when you're making biscuits, you can make them in many different sizes and shapes, and it's totally fine. If you want to get a lot more biscuits, you can either double the recipe or cut them smaller. But for my family, my guys like this size, so I'm going to go with this today. Now I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees. I'm going to pop these in the oven starting at 12 minutes. Now again, depending on the size, with these being bigger, they may take up to 15 minutes, whereas if I'd made them smaller, they'll take more like around 12 minutes. Just start keeping an eye on them about 12 minutes, but you do want to bake them until they're nice and golden brown. Now these are fresh out of the oven, and you can see they're just this nice light golden brown on top, and then they're nice golden brown on the bottom too. So these are ready to serve. Well, if you'd like to try these dill biscuits at home, just go to our website and visit the Daily Bread show notes, and I'll have the recipe there for you. And as always, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I'll see you next time.